What up? What up? What up? Thank you for tuning in to this episode of Asbrock's Bengals Thoughts, brought to you by Impact Sports Cincinnati. My name is, of course, Chris Asbrock, and boy, does it feel good to be back here recapping a Bengals victory. The Bengals, the Cincinnati Bengals, came away with a huge 31-20 victory over the Tennessee Titans today to improve to 2-5-1 on the season, while Tennessee falls to 5. Huge win for the Cincinnati Bengals today in a game that they had to win going into the bye week. This was one that, you look at the way the season's gone, and you go from last week where this team was, it was the highest of highs to the lowest of lows that we have seen so far this season. And I tell you what, it was, this is exactly what we want to see as Bengals fans. This is the football team we were wanting to see all along. Plain and simple, this Bengals team, they went out and they got the job done. They closed out. They got it done. It's a team that coming in was 5-1, a good Tennessee Titans football team. Plain and simple, a good Tennessee Titans football team, and the Bengals got the job done and got the win. And that's just what the doctor ordered. And you kind of wonder, with all the crap that had gone on this week with Carlos Dunlap, and even last week, I had talked about it on last week's episode. Carlos Dunlap he had become a royal pain in the ass, and they were finally able to get him dealt. And they, sometimes dealing with a player like that, and with Carlos Dunlap and his situation, in the last episode, but, when you look at Carlos Dunlap, he, for all the good that he did for this team, there for the club and the organization, he did a lot. Plain and simple, he did a lot of good. But there was also a lot of negativity towards the end, and that's where, that's what you don't want to see. A player like that, he's going to finish one sack behind the all-time leader in the organization for sacks. Instead, he could have gone away being the all-time leader in sacks here for the Cincinnati Bengals. He chose not to do that. He chose to take the negative way and the non-professional way out. He got his wish. Always remember, Carlos, grass isn't always greener on the other side. So that's something to remember. Obviously, you could care less what I think, but still, the Bengals made that move earlier this week and, with the Seattle Seahawks. So you kind of wondering, okay, how are the Bengals going to go into this game? You're still without Joe Mixon. All 5 of your offensive linemen were hurt. So the 5 offensive linemen you had to start the season in game 1, none of them are active in this game. So you had 5 brand new offensive linemen in this game, and you're kind of wondering, okay, what are we going to be looking at? And, it turned out to be, it turned out to be, to be good. You had Johnson, Redmond, Bryce. Let's try it again. Wow. Fred Johnson was the right outside tackle. Alex Redmond, right guard. Billy Price. You had Calhoun, and you had Adeniji on the left side there for the Bengals offensive line. And, Joe Burrow has come in. Joe Burrow has looked nothing short of fantastic, and I'm going to say 98% of the games that we've seen so far from the rookie and the Bengals, they're, you look at how this game played out, and it was kind of, you're wondering, you're waiting for it to come undone, and that's the part of being a Bengals fan that I guess you can say is pretty typical. But overall, you look at the statistics. Like I said, you had no Joe Mixon in this game, and so not having Mixon, John Ross was inactive, Trey Hopkins, Bobby Hart, Jonah Williams. So those 3 right there, not 3. I'm just kidding. Those 6 guys right there were, those were key pieces, in your offense as you're moving forward. And, so in steps Giovanni Bernard and Samaje Perine. Samaje Perine and Giovanni Bernard ran for a combined 94 yards on 25 combined attempts. 15 for 62 for Giovanni Bernard, and that was a touchdown run. You had Samaje Perine 10 for 32. His longest was 16. Joe Burrow, he ran 3 times for 9 yards. Tyler Boyd, 2 for 9. T. Higgins, 2 for 6. So they were able to kind of, I don't want to say spread the wealth, but between Bernard and Perine, they got the job done. Joe Burrow, 26 of 37, 249 yards, 2 touchdowns, no picks. He did throw the 1 interception, but it was called back due to the pass interference call on Tennessee. So, he was given an out there on that one and still got the job done. Joe Burrow ends with a quarterback rating of 106.7. Here's the key stat. No sacks. No sacks for Joe Burrow today. He was under pressure, as you would expect, but no sacks. That is key. He stayed upright, and that is what you want to see from your franchise quarterback. Again, 26 of 37, 249 yards passing, quarterback rating 106.7, 2 touchdowns. His longest pass was 24 yards. And that was to T. Higgins. But, Auden Tate, man, have a game, my man. That is what I'm talking about. Auden Tate targeted 7 times. He caught all 7, 65 yards. His longest was 15 yards. He averaged 9.3 yards per catch. T. Higgins targeted 9 times, and he hauled in 6 of those for 78 yards. He averaged 13. His longest was 24. Tyler Boyd and Giovanni Bernard, A.J. Green, Samaje Perine, Ethan Carter, and Drew Sample were all targeted. Only Drew Sample came away without a catch in this game. Again, just a great job by the Cincinnati Bengals to move forward and continue to put points on the board. The only quarter they did not put a point up on the board was in the third quarter. But, you look at it, they were up 3-0 after 1. They were up 17-7 after 2 after half, and then still 17-7 into the at the end of the third quarter. So into the fourth quarter, you're up 17-7. The Bengals outscored the Titans 14-13. There you go. So the Bengals did just a great job of finally getting over the hump and closing out a game when it mattered most. That's what had to happen, and the Bengals did that. Finally, they got the job done, and that's what you want to see. Kevin Huber, phenomenal job punting. He punted 3 times for 430 yards, an average of 43.3 yards. His longest punt was 47. He had 2 of those inside the 20. I mean, just a great job by Kevin Huber, who, again, is still one of the best punters in the league. He continues to show why. Bengals did not have a turnover, and that's what you're wanting to see. You have to see that kind of stuff happen. And the Bengals, they were better statistically on third downs. They were 10 of 15, 67% compared to 5 of 9 for the Tennessee Titans, who were 56%. But the Bengals did a better job on third down. They got the job done when they had to have it. They didn't turn the ball over via a kick. That's what you have to happen and win a football game. Bengals had 27 total first downs. So did the Tennessee Titans. 12 of those for Tennessee were on the ground. The Bengals did get gashed again on the ground, something that they do have to shore up. Derrick Henry had 112 yards on the ground rushing on 18 carries. It was an average of 6.2. McNichols, 4 for 49. Foreman, 5 of 37. The Bengals did get gashed again on the ground, and that's something, like I said, you have to expect that with this defense right now at this point in time, because they haven't proven that they can stop the run when it matters most, and especially The Titans came in with the top rushing attack in the NFL, and they showed why. They were able to, come out and they 218 net yards rushing for the Titans. They ran the ball 29 times. That's that's not too bad. You know what you're going to expect with Tennessee. They're going to come out and they're going to, they're going to punish you on the ground. And so just under half of those plays were running, were rushing attempts. They had a total of 59 plays, and it was almost an even 30-30 if they were able to pull it off and have one more rushing play, because Ryan Tannehill, I should say, was 18 of 30 for 233 yards. He was sacked the one time. That was a 10-yard loss. He did throw 2 touchdowns. He did throw 1 interception. That was the interception right at the beginning in the first quarter there in the end zone by Jesse Bates. He had a quarterback rating of 92.8. Ryan Tannehill had a pretty good game. He was flinging the ball down the field. He was targeting guys, at a pretty good rate. And only 6 players were able to catch a ball. Davis had 8 receptions. Brown had 4. Ferkser with 2, and same with Smith. Raymond and Blasingame, I don't know how to say the last name. I could be way off on that one. They each had 1. But only 6 receivers were able to haul in a pass. Humphreys, Pruitt, Henry, and McNichols were all targeted but did not come away with a catch. So Burrow was able to spread the ball out and get more of his receivers' catches, but Tannehill did target more receivers than what Burrow did today. But again, overall, it was a great game here by the Cincinnati Bengals, and something that you want to see from this team. It was only a matter of time that something like this was going to go their way, and it was going to break and be positive. So you look on third down, like I said, the Bengals were 10 of 15. Both teams were 1 for 1 on fourth down. But total net yards, the Tennessee Titans had 441 total net yards compared to 367 for the Cincinnati Bengals. Average game per offensive play, Tennessee had 7.4 on average compared to 5.3 for the Cincinnati Bengals. Now, that right there is something that the Bengals defense does have to shore up. Tighten that up, shrink that number down, because you continue to go in a game like this, you're going to get punished. Luckily, the Bengals defense stepped up when it mattered most and took care of business and got the job done. But, it's not going to happen every game. But the Bengals were able to get the job done there, and obviously they took advantage of it. They did only hold Tennessee to 2 punts, throughout the game. Well, the Bengals, like I said, had 3. Net punting average of 42.3 for the Bengals compared to 26 yards for Tennessee. So, that right there is that's a victory right there in the special teams for the Bengals there. Extra points, it was 2 for 3 for the Bengals, 4 for 4, or 2 for 3 for the Titans, 4 for 4 for the Bengals, 1 for 1 on field goals, 0 for 1 for the Titans. So there, not only do the Bengals have the advantage in the punting game, they also had the advantage in the kicking game as well. Punt returns and kick returns. Punt returns were nothing. The Bengals had they were not able to return a punt. But in kick returns, Bengals had 4 for 97 compared to 2 for 30 for Tennessee. So the Bengals, again, special teams dominated. 2 of the 3 units got the victory for the Bengals today because they outplayed the Tennessee Titans. Special teams got the job done and offensively. Granted, the Bengals, the Bengals were able to take care of more, they were able to take advantage of more opportunities than what Tennessee was in this game. Granted, the Bengals did give up a lot of yards, but they were able to give up the yards as Tennessee drove the field, but the Bengals did a good job of not letting any more happen, after that. So the Bengals did the bend but don't break type situation, and they got the job done. Again, sometimes that's all you need. The Bengals, two for two, in goal to go situations. They were 4 for 5 in the red zone, 3 for 4 for Tennessee in the red zone, and they were 2 for 3 as well. Tennessee was in goal to go situations. Time of possession, the Bengals had over 11 minutes. The advantage there, 35 minutes and 57 seconds compared to 24 minutes and 3 seconds for the Tennessee Titans. So the Bengals forced Tennessee's defense to be on the field a lot longer, gave their defense a rest. That's what you want to see from this team, and they're finally getting it going and getting it done. You look at the ball possession and drive charts here. The Bengals had 8 drives total today. 5 of those ended in points. Field goal on the first drive, and then they punted the second drive after it was a 4-play drive, 4 plays, 12 yards, and it was out. Second quarter, they scored 2 touchdowns in the second quarter. The only drive they had in the third quarter, they punted, or that ended in the third quarter, I should say. 2 touchdowns in the fourth quarter, and then the punt right at the end. That that was really just to waste the time, and that's all that was. And they did a great job. The Bengals. You look at the time of possession. The Bengals dominated the time of possession in the second and fourth quarters. So right before the end of the half and right before the end of the game. 10 minutes and 6 seconds compared to 4 minutes and 54 seconds in the second quarter for the Cincinnati Bengals. 10 minutes and 35 seconds of possession in the fourth quarter. 4 minutes and 25 seconds for Tennessee in that quarter as well. Those are the 2 quarters right there that the Bengals won this football game in. They had to get the job done, and they did that. You scored 2 touchdowns in the second quarter, 2 more in the fourth quarter. Perfect. That's what you want to see, and the Bengals got the job done when it mattered. That's exactly what we want to see, and that's exactly what this coaching staff has been, clamoring for. But you look at Tennessee's, their first half was brutal. Interception, 8-play drive, 61 yards that they went down, 3 first downs, and interception. And the next drive, so you turn the ball over there, the Bengals go down, and, they go 4 plays, 12 yards, and punt. So you're up 3-0 for the Cincinnati Bengals. And Tennessee, you just get the interception, and you can't do anything with it. You have to punt. Tennessee goes right down the field, 8 plays, 43 yards. They miss a field goal. Bengals, okay, there we go. Now there's their chance to get something going. They go 9 plays, 40 yards, touchdown. Tennessee gets the ball back, 10 plays, 60 yards. And, it was a 10 plays, 75 yards, but it was, with the penalty. They did get a touchdown on that drive as well. So, therefore, you're looking at 10-7. Bengals get the ball back, go 9 plays, 63 yards, answer it in 5 minutes and 32 seconds on that. So they get the lead there. Now they're up 17-7, moving forward. And it's like, okay, here we go. Now, you don't want to give up any points to end the half, and the Bengals didn't do that. 6 plays, 36 yards. They held them, nothing. And then 2 punts for the Bengals, or for Tennessee, I'm sorry, on 2 drives that, went, really just went, 6 plays and 7 plays. One covered 54 yards, another one 34, and they forced them to punt twice. The Bengals end up in their drive, had to punt, their first official drive of that quarter they had to punt. 2 touchdowns apiece in the fourth quarter. That's what you like. Again, that's how you win football games. When it matters most, the Bengals got the job done, and that's you can't ask for much more than that. Jesse Bates, he was the man on defense. Again, he had 9 tackles, 2 assisted on, so he had 11 combined tackles. LaShawn Sims had 6 tackles. Von Bell, a total of 5. Same with Jermaine Pratt and Josh Bynes. Covington with 4. Xavier Williams with 3 and Sean Williams with 2, and the rest there's a bunch of other guys with 2 or 1 there. But, the Bengals, again, when it matters most, the Bengals got the job done. And that's what you have to see from this team. You look at the first quarter, the Bengals had 13 first downs in the first quarter. 2 of those were via penalty. So they took advantage of situations where Tennessee was giving them a first down. Okay, cool. Bengals ran 33 plays in the first half. I'm sorry. These are all halves. This is the half summary, not a quarter summary, so I apologize. Bengals ran 33 plays in the first half compared to 31 for Tennessee. Bengals were 5 of 8 on third down in that half. And, again, they owned the time of possession, 17 minutes and 39 seconds to 12 minutes and 21 seconds. So, Joe Burrow threw for 125 yards in the first half. He was 14 of 24, or 14 of 21. His longest was 24. Giovanni Bernard did have the touchdown run. Samaje Perine had the other touchdown on the ground. Derrick Henry had 58 yards rushing. Foreman and Tannehill each with 20 yards rushing. Ryan Tannehill, 6 completions for 6 for 13 for 86 yards with a quarterback rating of 36.1. He did have the interception. So not a good first half for Tennessee and Ryan Tannehill. And yet they were still down 17-7. So the game was, well within striking distance for Mike Vrabel and his team in the second half. And the Bengals, and we've seen, moving forward, this team plays and coaches sometimes not to lose. When you play and coach like that, you're going to lose. So, as naturally as we flip over to the second half, it's kind of, you're wondering, all right, here we go. Are they going to lose? Are they going to lose this? We saw how it worked out in things like that you don't want to see. But the Bengals, sometimes when it matters most, they seem to, sometimes they can't get out of their own way. And, but the Bengals were able to, they were able to, again, bend but don't break. And that's, in this game. And they forced Tennessee into some rough situations. But, the Bengals overall, their defense just has to continue to get better in shoring up some plays. Plain and simple. In the 10 longest plays that Tennessee had in the game, 6 of those were for over 20 yards. Derrick Henry had 2 of those. Rest of them were obviously passes. The 6 longest plays for Tennessee: 27-yard pass, a 26-yard pass, a 24-yard pass, a 23-yard run by Derrick Henry. That was in the second quarter. And then a 23-yard pass and then a 21-yard run by Derrick Henry as well. So those are the kind of plays that this Bengals team that, you can't have as a defense, you can't allow teams to, you can't let them put together big chunk plays where they're just gashing you for yards. Again, 6 of those plays on defense were for over 20 yards, and 2 of those were runs. Simply cannot happen. And, those are, then you look at on the flip side for the Cincinnati Bengals. Bengals only had 3 plays today for over 20 yards. All 3 were passes. 2 24-yard passes to one of them was to Higgins, the other one was to Boyd. And then Higgins got another 22-yarder. But the rest of that, they were all, they were passes. There was only one run. It was a 16-yard run by Samaje Perine off the left side there. But other than that, the Bengals, they have to start getting those big chunk plays. They have to start beating teams with those chunk plays. And luckily they were able to do that today. However, they were outgained in a lot of those bigger, in the big longest plays, I guess, statistic here. for the Bengals. So they had to get it done, and they were able to get it going. The Bengals led this game for 30 minutes and 45 seconds. 12 minutes and 27 seconds in the first half they had late, compared to they tacked on another 18 minutes and 18 seconds in the second half where they had the possession. So when you have the ball for 30 minutes and 45 seconds where you have the lead, good things are going to come your way. Tennessee had time of possession for 24 minutes and 3 seconds where they were trailing this game. The Bengals got the lead and never looked back, and that's what you have to do. You come off of a stinker of a game, where you have the lead going into like the final seconds, even minute of the game, and you allow a team to come by and beat you. Where the Bengals, again, they had 7 total drives where they were leading the football game. 3 in the first half, 4 in the second half. They got the job done. They were leading, like I said, from start to finish. Largest deficit was a 17-point deficit for Tennessee. So the Bengals had the largest lead of 17, and that was in the second half. They did not allow Tennessee to get back in this game, and they put them away when it mattered. And that is what you want to see from this football team. Plain and simple. That's it can be devastating sometimes to watch some of these drives to where you look at, oh my gosh, this clock's killing me here. Holy cow. You guys are obviously used to it because it happens every time I do these videos here. But you look at the 2 scoring drives for Tennessee where, they went 75 yards. In one of those, they went 75 yards. In one of those, in the fourth quarter, after the Bengals got the touchdown in the fourth quarter to go up 24-7, Tennessee goes 9 plays, 75 yards, and it took no time at all for that to happen. 9 plays, 75 yards, and 3 minutes and 45 seconds had elapsed, and that's like, holy cow! This is, it baffles me. So the Bengals, that chance, it's 24-14 at that point in time. This is where it was key drive territory. The Bengals are up 24-7. Tennessee goes right down the field in no time flat and scores a touchdown to bring it within 10. So you're thinking, okay, what are we going to do here? The Bengals go right down the field, 7 plays, 44 yards. And it all started with a phenomenal 49-yard kickoff return by Brandon Wilson. That set the tone for this next drive. So the Bengals only had to go 44 yards. So they had the ball at the Tennessee 44-yard line. 3 minutes and 50 seconds on a pass, on a 6-yard touchdown pass from Joe Burrow to Giovanni Bernard. Boom. There you go. That's what you want to see from this team. At that point, you're up 31-14. The lead's back to 17 again. And you're like, okay, now what are we going to do here? What are we going to see here from this football team defensively? Well, that's when things kind of got a little sideways here. And Tennessee goes 6 plays, 75 yards in a minute and 34. At that point, it's, 9:04 had elapsed for 9 plays that took 2 minutes and 35 seconds. The other one for 6 plays for 75 yards in a minute and 34. They get a touchdown. It was a 12-yard touchdown pass from Tannehill to Davis. And, it was a beautiful catch. And it was a shame because that drive should have ended in a turnover. There was the interception that it was tipped in the air. Von Bell came in, thought he intercepted it. They called it incomplete. It was upheld. Next pass, Von Bell intercepted it, and Carter Lawson was offsides. So ends up you give it right back to him. Next pass, 12-yard. Ends up you give it right back to him. Next pass, 12-yard touchdown pass, and you're up. You're only up 31-20. Stephen Gostkowski gives you the. It wasn't his fault. It was a bad snap, and it was. And Crawford, he can't get the ball, and hold it. He's got to get up. Gostkowski, it was a gong show, so they had to basically throw it. It was intercepted. He could get the ball, and hold it. He's got to get up. Gostkowski, it was a gong show, so they had to basically throw it. It was intercepted by Josh Bynes, who attempted to take it back, but was tackled. So at that point, you're up 31-20, and you've got some time to waste. And the Cincinnati Bengals did that. They were able to get the job done when it mattered most. And that's what was key in this game. And the Bengals did a great job of finally putting a team away when it mattered. And the Cincinnati Bengals came away with a 31-20 victory over the Tennessee Titans in regular season Week 8 action at Paul Brown Stadium. So that is that's a good feeling right there. That's what was needed, and the Bengals got the job done finally. Like I said, when it mattered most, they did it. They got the job done. And congratulations to Zach Taylor and his staff for getting the job done when it mattered, because I was riding his ass pretty hard. I was riding the coaching staff pretty hard, but they got it done when it mattered most, and good on them for doing that, because in times like this, you've got a quarterback in Joe Burrow who flat out is a stud, and you have to take advantage of these times as we move forward in this season. And in his career, you don't want to waste any opportunities, and he's showing you why he was the number one overall pick. So the Cincinnati Bengals, they come away again with the victory. They improved to 2-5-1 on the season, and just a big game for the Cincinnati Bengals. Like I said, good on them for getting the victory when it mattered most. So Cincinnati Bengals improved, like I said, to 2-5-1 on the season as we head into the bye week. And then following that, they will go on the road and face the Pittsburgh Steelers at Heinz Field. Your time that you've taken to watch this and or listen to it on the podcast page. Thank you guys. As always, make sure you check out the website, impactsportscincinnati.wordpress.com. That's impactsportscincinnati.wordpress.com. Follow me on Twitter at I am Chris Asbrock and at ISCincy as well. As always, for your fitness needs, make sure you check out FNX Fit. Fitness needs, make sure you check out FNX Fit. FNXFit.com and use the promo code BDiesel % our promo code BDiesel for 50%. So, as always, thank you guys so much, and I will be back in 2 weeks. The Cincinnati Bengals as they take on the Pittsburgh Steelers from Heinz Field. So with that being said, thank you guys so much, and everyone have a fantastic week, and we will see you back here in a couple weeks. Take care, everybody.